Hello, welcome to this Key Stage 4 Level 2 Technical Award presentation for the Hospitality and Catering Qualification Cookery and Service for the hospitality industry. My name's Amelia Bodle and I'm the City and Guilds Hospitality and Catering Technical Advisor, and I'll be delivering this presentation today along with my colleague Alison Whittle, who is the Technical Advisor for Post 16. During this presentation, we'll be looking at the City and Guilds Technical Award in Cookery and Service for the hospitality industry and the content of this qualification, along with generic support and resources material available. My colleague Alison will talk you through the delivery models that could be 1 or 2 years, and then we'll talk about the different assessment methods, along with how to then mark the synoptic assignment part of the assessment methods. My colleague Alison will talk about the technical awards, how they're graded and where they sit on the performance tables, and then we'll also talk to you in more detail about where you can find any further support and resources available to you. The City and Guilds Level 2 Technical Award in Cookery and Service conforms to the requirements as laid out by the DFE and will appear on the performance tables. It's a Key Stage 4 technical award and is made up of 120 guided learning hours. There are 3 units which are all mandatory, so must be achieved. The primary purpose of the City and Guilds Technical Award in Cookery and Service is to develop an understanding of the hospitality and catering industry. However, City and Guilds also includes practical activities to help embed the knowledge and the content required within each unit. There's a link within this page where you can access all of the relevant documents for this qualification. Having decided to undertake the Key Stage 4 Technical Award in Cookery and Service with City and Guilds, you will need to register your learners. This needs to be done by the end of October. You will be using our online system, which is called Walled Garden. Once logged on using your username and password, you will click on the Catalogue tab in the second navigation bar, then select City and Guilds. You then select the qualification which you require, in this case the 6106-20 or the Level 2 Technical Award in Cookery and Service for the hospitality industry. You'll then need to click on the green box to place the order. After that, you click on Named Registration, then you add the learner's information, and these details need to include their first name, last name, their date of birth and their gender. And once you've finished that, you click Confirm. The link at the bottom of the page shows you where you can access further details on how to use the Walled Garden. Now let's have a look at some of the support and resources that City and Guilds can provide. The link shown at the bottom of the page will take you to the generic Technicals Resources webpage. Here at City and Guilds, we'd encourage you to use all the resources that we create to help you plan your delivery. The best document for this would be using the Teaching, Learning and Assessment Guide. To help you understand how the assessments are marked and then overall moderated, we'd advise you using the Marking and Moderation Guide. The Welcome Pack will take you through the setup and how to deliver the City and Guilds technical qualifications. Most importantly is the exam guide, as this will provide you with the dates and times that the written exams will need to occur. In addition to the generic resources, we also have qualification specific resources for the 6106 Key Stage 4 Technical Award in Cookery and Service. You can search for these on the main website page, putting 6106 into the search engine and then selecting the qualification. Under the Documents tab, you will find the Qualification Handbook, and this advises you of exactly what you need to deliver. The unit content is all available in here. The reports are available from the principal moderator and the chief examiner, and these advise on previous year's delivery and give some good practice and top tips for delivery. Once the synoptic assignment is available, you will also find that documented here. We also provide sample synoptics as well as previous year's past papers and marking schemes. These can all support you with ensuring your learners are prepared for the exam and the synoptic. An exam guidance document is also available to support with teaching the types and styles of questions with desired answers.
Before we look at some of the delivery models, I think we just need to look at some of the considerations when delivering the technical award, because it will require a holistic approach. That means the full syllabus will need to be taught just the same as in all GCSE exams, where you would teach the whole specification. Exams and tasks are then set from the content in the specification. The main difference is that they are not unitised and not unit assessed. The only evidence that we require is the end test and synoptic assignment, and City and Guilds provide both of these assessments to you. There may be additional evidence that your centres may require in line with the Common Inspection Framework, for example, some formative marking, ongoing tests, and evidence of tracking your progress. The next two slides, we're going to look at some examples of 1- and 2-year delivery programmes. So this slide looks at a possible delivery model over one academic year. So to give you an idea of what that could look like, the idea would be that you would begin your delivery in September, at the beginning of the autumn term, and that would include your induction to the technical award. You would then deliver all of the knowledge, including the practical skills if they're required, until February in the spring term. The synoptic assignment and controlled assessment will be released to centres for tutors in the autumn term in September. And this is to allow the centres to prepare for the assessment and allow for the resources that may be required to deliver this assignment. You would then register your learners for the end test in the first exam window. The dates are on the website, and the first exam series are in February and March. When your learners sit the first exam, the results of that end test will be submitted to your centre by the end of May. That then allows the centre sufficient time to re-enter learners for the theory exam in the second series if you wish to have a resit or those learners need to improve their marks. The second sitting in May or June, the results of that will be released to the centre in August alongside the remaining of the GCSE qualifications for that year for other exam boards. So just to clarify, please be aware that there is no opportunity for a resit for the synoptic assignment in the same academic year. This slide looks at what a 2-year delivery programme could look like. So it's a sample really showing you how to plan your delivery over 2 years. And this is just a suggestion because each centre will have their own models and have their own timetabling. So year 1, you could focus on the delivery of the syllabus. And you could maybe enter your learners for the June or the May-June exam series at the end of year 1. So there's been something to work towards for the whole of that academic year. Then the results of that second exam series in May and June, you will have the results of that in August alongside all other exam boards qualifications for GCSEs, etc. That means when your learners come back and start the second year in September, you then register the synoptic assessment, and that is released to tutors in September of that year. You can then prepare your learners for that synoptic assignment in the February and March in the second year, having had all that knowledge delivered in the first year as well. Now, centres will be able to release their synoptic assignment to learners in February. Now, in this year, the date was February the 4th when synoptic assignments went live. This date will be altered every year and will be available on the website. So all the evidence for the synoptic assessment must be submitted in May, and the date again will be on the website. This year it is May the 17th. So with a 2-year delivery, if you have any learners that took the exam in the first year in May and June and were either not successful or you want to improve their grade, you can see in the second year there are other exam opportunities, either in the first exam series, which is February and March, for any retakes, or you may want to wait for those learners to take the exam later on in the year, which will be the May-June series. Again, the results will be coming into you in August for the May-June series and May for the February-March series. I think it's really important at this point to point out that there is only one chance for a resit. So you can take the exam and have one of those resits. So this does not mean there is 3 times you can actually sit the exam. It's one exam and one resit in those windows. But as you can see, there is complete flexibility with your delivery models over a 2 and even a 3-year in some case program. We have an excellent exam guide document which is available on our website. This provides lots of valuable information on how to teach your learners the exam vocabulary and the types of answers that will be required by each command verb. You will see some examples on the graphic here, where we're looking at the words list, label and state that possibly would require more short word answer tests, more short word answers rather than the longer in-depth, such as analyse, compare and evaluate. This guide is critical for the success of the theory exam, and as I say, it's the first document really to prepare your learners in how to sit their first theory test. On this slide, we're looking at some key exam dates for the 2018 and 2019 academic year. And this provides a series of dates that are critical for booking windows, which close this year on the 22nd of December for the first exam for the technical award for this year. Centres only have to book assessments in this window if they're actually taking the theory exam in February and March 2019, or are taking the synoptic in this academic year. Obviously, if you have a 2-year programme, then you'll be looking at the dates that will be published for next year's windows. So please note, if you want to enter your learners for the 2019 theory exam, you will need to book this between the 1st of March and the 27th of April 2019 if you're planning to have theory exams in this 2018-19 academic year. If your learners are doing the synoptic in the 2019-2020 academic year, then you will need to book that in autumn 2019. There is a document available on the website that provides all of these key dates. This is a visual of a curriculum planner that we produced, really as an exemplar of how to deliver the technical award. We have past examples of a 1-year and a 2-year delivery model. We've looked at some centre feedback for this year, and what we have done is produce an editable version with all of the key dates on. This document is available for you to download, and then you can input your own delivery model within the editable version. This then allows you as a centre to plan your own delivery model, which will be conducive to your timetable.
Now let's take a look at the assessment. At City and Guilds, we've made the assessment extremely streamlined. There are only 2 component parts. However, both components must be achieved at the minimum of a pass to achieve the whole qualification. The first component part is the synoptic practical assignment. This covers 60% of the overall grade. It's externally set by us at City and Guilds and then internally marked and standardised by yourselves using the guide I talked about earlier, the Marking and Moderation Guide. You then upload your results to a moderation platform that we will also advise you about, and then this is externally moderated by City and Guilds moderators. There's a 12-week window to deliver this synoptic practical assignment, which opens in February and closes in May. You can only sit this once in the academic year, although there is a resit requirement available, but it would be the following academic year. The second component part of the assessment is an external theory exam. We set this at City and Guilds, we mark this. There are 2 opportunities available within the academic year to sit this, and for our Key Stage 4 Technical Award in Cookery and Service, these are available in March and in June. There's 1 resit opportunity, so if you undertake the exam in March, you can resit in June. If for some reason you couldn't retake the original in March and you started and took your first sitting in June, you could then resit the following academic year. So let's look at the assessment in a little bit more detail. The theory test, as you can see, is 2 hours in duration. It's set by us at City and Guilds and marked by us. It has to be sat on a certain day at a certain time, exactly the same as your GCSE qualifications. To book the exam, then you'd go to the walled garden and you'd use the code 020 for Evolve, which would be used to undertake an online version of the exam. Evolve is our system where we undertake these examinations, and should you want to do that, we can talk you through this process. Or if you'd rather have a paper-based exam, then you'd book on the walled garden using the code 520. Each group of learners that you have can undertake paper or online according to them and your choices. So there is no need for the whole cohort of learners to undertake either paper or online. A mixture of each is absolutely fine. This exam covers the learners' critical knowledge and essentially is 10 to 12 short answer questions that test the breadth and depth of their knowledge. The last question is an extended response question. Our examination guide will support you with the different styles and types of questions and desired answers, so you can support your learners in exam preparation. But usual exam preparation techniques need to be adopted. This assessment contributes to 40% of the overall grade and will be graded distinction, merit, pass or fail. There is only 1 resit opportunity. The Key Stage 4 Technical Award in Cookery and Service is tested by 5 assessment objectives. The Technicals exam only uses 3 of these: recollection of knowledge, understanding of concepts, theories and processes, and the integration of skills and knowledge across the breadth of the qualification. Each of these assessment objectives has a percentage, so you can see exactly how much will form the basis of the questions within the examination. More details of this can be found in the qualification handbook and the examination guide. The examination covers content from all 3 mandatory units. So Unit 201 makes up 25 of the 80 total marks and covers the size and structure of the UK hospitality industry, influences on the hospitality industry, and understanding the impact of innovation and technology on the hospitality industry. Unit 202 has 27 marks out of the 80 marks in total and covers understanding how commodities are used to produce food for meal occasions, and then the links between allergens, special diets and well-being, as well as developing technical skills required to produce food. Lastly, Unit 203, Understand Food and Beverage Service, is 8 of the 80 marks. And then an integration across all 3 units makes up 20 marks, making the total marks available to be awarded for the qualification examination as 80 marks. More details on the delivery of this can be found in the qualification handbook, where all the units are broken down into the exact criteria you will need to teach to ensure that your learners can pass the exam. The guide to the examination can be found using the link at the bottom of the page. Then clicking on the Level 2 tab, followed by the assessment materials, and you'll find it there where I've highlighted right at the bottom. It isn't password protected, so you can download it. It's been designed to help you in the preparation of your learners for the exam. It covers details of the exam structure, length and timings, and content assessed by the exam. Then there's also lengthy guidance on the language of the exam, types of questions included, and examples of these with desired answers, as well as links to further resources to support your teaching and exam preparation. Now let's look at the synoptic assignment. The synoptic assignment tests the learner's ability to research, analyse information, as well as making use of the practical skills that they've developed throughout the qualification. While you, the centre, mark the synoptic, it then goes through a standardisation process and we moderate it at City and Guilds. It's graded, fail, pass, merit, distinction. A distinction star can be achieved by an aggregated percentage of learners achieving the top percentage, and we award this distinction star. The synoptic assignment is 60% of the overall grade, and there's a window of opportunity for you to be able to deliver between February and May, and the dates for this academic year are shown there. There is only one resit opportunity, which won't be this academic year, but it can be resat the following academic year. Let's look in a little bit more detail at the synoptic assignment now. So the synoptic assignment is a controlled assessment that's set by City and Guilds, and as I said before, you will internally mark it and then we will moderate it using a sampling process. It's released to you in September to allow you to plan your delivery of teaching for the academic year. Although you cannot start to deliver the synoptic until the window, which starts in February, although you may choose to deliver later on in the academic year. The synoptic is put on the City and Guilds main website under the Qualification tab 610620. However, it is password protected, and this password can be gained as usual from our walled garden. Each year the synoptic will change and a new one will be provided. So should you have to have a learner resit the synoptic, this would be in the following academic year, and therefore there would be a new synoptic provided. So for any resits, you could get the learner to undertake the synoptic when the window opens the following academic year in February. You must be advised though, if the learner fails this resit opportunity, then they will fail the whole of the qualification, as both component parts, the exam and the synoptic, need to be passed in order to gain the qualification. Once you've started to undertake the synoptic assignment, then learners have to carry out the work independently. There can therefore be no intervention from the tutor at this point or help or support provided. If any help or support does need to be provided by the tutor, then this needs to be recorded on the candidate record form. The synoptic is broken down into tasks. Each of these tasks have timings that need to be adhered to, and these can be found within the synoptic assignment pack, along with additional guidance on how to deliver each of the tasks. Before the synoptic assignment is actually being undertaken, then you can clearly develop the skills required during the synoptic. So for example, writing of time plans or carrying out evaluations. But once, as I said, the synoptic phase has been entered, then the tutor support needs to be removed and the synoptic process needs to be followed. As you will be marking the synoptic assignment, it's important that you understand the marking process and how to mark. Here are the 5 assessment objectives that you'll be using, and on the right hand side you can see the approximate weightings. The typical expected evidence is found in the column in the middle. So for example, assessment objective 3, application of practical technical skills, you would expect to find evidence from that during the actual observation, food preparation and production skills, as well as the skills of food and beverage service. For more information on how to mark, please use the URL link at the top and watch the YouTube video. The moderation portal is the platform that we use to be able to mark the work. This is the platform that you will upload your learners' work to. We don't need every learner's work, we only need a percentage sample. And details of the number of learners, depending on the number of learners you have on the programme, can be found in the marking and moderation guide. There is a link there that will take you to the Moderation Portal Centre Guide, which will explain how to use the moderation portal. The moderation is carried out remotely, so you won't have a visit from a moderator for this qualification. The moderation process will have 3 outcomes. We will either accept your marks, whereby you can make no challenge as we are accepting the marks that you have provided, or we may adjust the marks if you deem to be marking too leniently or too harshly. We would adjust the marks across the cohort of learners. Or we may have to do a full remark and the moderator's marks are accepted. This can often occur if you haven't standardised your actual marking processes internally. Once the moderation process is completed, you will receive notification of the moderation marks and any feedback on the accuracy of your marking to support with future cohorts of learners. So now let's have a look at marking the synoptic assignment. I'm going to hand you over to Alison, who will talk you through the tutor's responsibilities.
Okay, so just to look at some of the other responsibilities that as a tutor you have for marking the synoptic assignment, you'll see there is an URL link there that links you again to some YouTube videos which are really handy to look at how to mark and give you some marking in some great detail. But overall, tutors need to make sure that you have read the marking and moderation guide. You need to comment on the paperwork we provide on the quality of work produced, and you only need to allocate marks, not grades, against each of the assessment objectives. The total marks for each learner are out of a possible 60 marks. You will then submit the marks for your whole cohort. Now, to submit the learner's evidence in the sample, this will depend on your size of the cohort that you deliver to. So, for example, if you have 12 learners or less, we will want to see all 12 learners, or all of those marks for those learners, if it's the 12 or less. We'd ask you to include a sample for the range of the highest marked learner, the lowest marked learner, and a range somewhere in between. If you have 13 to 100 learners, we would require a sample size of 12. Again, a range from the highest to the lowest and a range in between. If you have between 101 and 200 learners, we require a sample size of 15. Again, the highest, the lowest and the range in between. And exactly the same for more than 200 learners, the sample size is a maximum of 20, showing a range of learners as well. What is important is that all of the evidence must be uploaded. It must be collated in a logical order and named with the relevant tasks involved. For example, if there are 3 tasks involved in your synoptic assignment, they should be clearly labelled task 1, task 2 and task 3. There is further guidance and information on the marking and moderation portal, and there is a range of resources to support you on our website. Just to clarify, this is not visiting moderation. So there will be no visiting moderator. You will just need to submit the marks for your learners. And you will mark the whole of your learners and only submit the sample size on the moderation portal. So just to look at some of the information on the slide, again looking at tutors' responsibilities for marking a synoptic assignment. It is important to think that learners do not have to complete the assignment in one day. So if you have a 4 or 3 hour half-day session with your learners and the assignment tasks are say 15 to 20 hours, that can be 3 consecutive delivery days that you can then carry out your assignment. You need to plan the schedule for the synoptic according to the volume of learners, your timetabling, the physical resources you have available and the tutors that are available for that. The assignments are internally marked by your tutors, but you must use the following forms that City and Guilds provide. That is your candidate record form. You also need to submit evidence to show that your centre has standardised the work exactly the same as you would for internal quality assurance if there is more than 1 marker. We also need a declaration of authenticity form. Should you have a personal interest or you actually know one of your candidates, that must also be declared on the personal interest form, and the practical observation form that must be submitted alongside all of this evidence. So all of these forms will be found under section 3 on the website. Again, there is a link to where you can find this information. As we said, a different assignment is provided each year, but the evidence produced will be internally marked using exactly the same marking grid each year with the same weightings in your assessment objectives to support comparability across the versions.
As mentioned already, City and Guilds has developed 5 assessment objectives for you to be able to mark against. Here's one of the assessment objectives, Assessment Objective 2. And I just wanted to show you what the actual marking grids look like and how we break down the band descriptors. So Assessment Objective 2 is all about understanding the concepts and theories and processes. At City and Guilds, we use exactly the same assessment objectives across all industry areas. However, clearly the examples of understanding expected are entirely different for each of the occupational areas. So, looking at Assessment Objective 2, there are then 3 band descriptors. So, poor to limited, band descriptor 1, fair to good, band descriptor 2, and band descriptor 3 is strong to excellent. So essentially, when you carry out the marking process, you decide which band that your learner will fit into. And you can see there for band descriptor 1, it's poor to limited. So the expectation is some misunderstanding, some illogical connections, and perhaps some guessing. Your job is then to decide, once you've decided which band descriptor they fit into, exactly how many marks to allocate. And as you can see there, for this particular assessment objective, it's between 1 and 5 marks for band descriptor 1. So you will make a decision whether they are a high band 1, so a 4 to 5, or a low band 1, 1 to 2, or dead bang in the middle, perhaps a 3 mark. You really do need to consider, or should I say stop considering though, pass, merit and distinction. These band descriptors are not relevant to that. In fact, it's fair to say if you were to mark your learner for band 1 in each of the 5 assessment objectives, it's likely that they would fail the synoptic assignment. So, looking there at the section which is in beige, examples of understanding expected, this is where we drill down a little bit further for you so that you can see the types of things that you would need to consider in this particular assessment objective. So understanding the use of technical skills. So this particular assessment objective is more about understanding that you've taught them than actually the carrying out those skills. So understanding the use of skills, understanding methods and equipment required for the dish. So does the learner actually select the correct equipment required for the dish? Are they doing that because they understand it, or was it just because they hazarded a guess or looked across the room and realised that one of the learners opposite was using a certain piece of equipment? Food and beverage service skills, exactly the same sort of thing but on a food and beverage basis. Communication, technologies, environmental and sustainable practices, health and nutrition, selection of relevant research materials and sources, e.g. the internet, books, journals. So if they're using many sources to actually undertake task 1, which allows them to do some research, if they're using lots, then it may well be that you consider that actually they deserve to be marked within band 3. But you need to consider all of these different examples and then make your decision as to where you are going to place your learners within that band. These marking grids are found in the back of the synoptic assignment, and within the sample synoptic you can also see further details of these. So how do you mark? Well, it's useful to follow this overview. Essentially, you need to understand the assessment objectives, as I've said before, and you need to understand them contextualised within the qualification that you're delivering. You need to then judge, based on the candidate's performance, whether they fit which assessment objective you're looking at and where they fit in terms of the bands. And do they then fit at the top of the band, middle of the band, or at the bottom of the band? To do this, you use the generic and contextualised band descriptors to support your decisions. You then need to look at the group of learners as a whole within the band and rank them based on their performance for the assessment objective. So marking across your group will help you. You'll start to make decisions about where learners fit, whether they fit into the medium band, and then looking at the work that they've produced, you'll be able to narrow that down into the fact that some are sitting higher in the middle band and some are sitting lower. So go back to the band descriptors to help verify the positioning of your learners' cohort across the scale. Once you've decided on the marks, then you'll need to place the learners in that rank order and appropriately spread out your marks. You then upload your marks to the moderation portal.
So the next few slides are really about how technical awards are graded and their sort of relationship with performance tables and GCSEs. So assessment and grading. The results of the theory exam and synoptic assignment and overall grade are made available to centres on the walled garden. The overall qualification grade will be calculated based on the aggregation of points that are awarded for the learner's achievements from the theory exam and the synoptic assessment, and these are then converted into grades. The technical awards are graded as fail, pass, merit, distinction, and distinction star is taken midway from the top 10% of learners achieving a distinction. Both assessments, which means the exam and the synoptic assignment, must be achieved at a minimum of a pass before the qualification can be awarded. Unfortunately, there are no compensatory methods allowed, so therefore you have to pass both the theory exam and the synoptic assignment to achieve the qualification. There is no set pass mark published in advance, as this is decided by an expert panel using an awarding process, although you will be able to look at the grade pass boundaries from the previous year, which give an indication of what the pass boundaries would be for this qualification. The contribution of assessments towards the overall grade is set out in each of the qualification handbooks. This slide shows the points awarded against a GCSE qualification. You will see that the technical award only has 4 possible grades instead of a GCSE, which now has 9 possible grades. All technical awards are set at level 2, which is equivalent to GCSE pass grades of 4 to 9 only. So, for example, distinction star on your performance tables will be worth 8.5 points. A distinction is worth 7 points, a merit is worth 5.5 points, and a pass is worth 4 points. Ofqual may adjust or alter these grades in line with any alterations to GCSE grading, or where a formula may be applied to allocate the percentage of learners who can be awarded a distinction star. So just to explain this slide, discounting codes apply where a qualification is considered to have significant overlap in content to another qualification. In this case, a discount code may be applied. This means that although the learner can achieve both qualifications and be awarded certificates for similar qualifications, only one of these qualifications will count in your school's or college's performance tables. There is a link to this document showing all the discount codes, which is available on the Department for Education website and is uploaded and changed yearly. This slide provides links to all of the relevant DFE documents required for information on Progress 8 and performance points. You will see there that all City and Guilds technical awards will count in the Key Stage 4 performance tables from 2018 onwards, and this includes the 2020 performance tables. So this next section is where to find the resource and supports available to you. This slide shows you a screenshot of where you can find all these resources. They are all free to download and provide information to help with your delivery, teaching and assessments. There is a dedicated section for Key Stage 4, as you will see on the right side of your screen, and resources and support available for teaching and learning, curriculum plans, help with Maths and English support, and all of your online teaching and support resources.
This slide shows you the sector-specific support and resources that we have available. The link there will take you directly to the 6106 qualification page, where you'll find all the support resources specific to this Key Stage 4 Technical Award in Cookery and Service for the hospitality industry. So you can see highlighted over to the left are all of the assessment materials, starting with the synoptic assignment, and then recording forms, and then sample questions, and the exam guidance document finally at the bottom that we talked about earlier in the presentation. Under the Centre Documents tab to the right hand side, you'll find the qualification handbook, which is what you need in terms of delivery. So the qualification handbook gives you all of the units, the 3 units, and broken down into the specific criteria that you need to teach your learners. The document underneath, the resource checklist, is something that you need to check when you're applying for approval to make sure that you have the physical resources to actually undertake the qualification within your centre. The further support there underneath the centre documents are past papers. So there we have past papers 2017. That one hasn't been currently opened up so you can't see that, but it looks very similar to the past paper and past assignments 2018. So under past paper 2017 you have March and June past papers with their mark schemes and also the qualification report. And then the qualification report you have there as well for 2018, which is the report that we talked about earlier that the principal moderator and chief examiner complete, so that you've got some idea of results in 2018. And then you've also there got past papers for March, June, plus a sample of a previous synoptic assignment which you could actually use as a mock. Please do access all these support and resource materials available to you. Our technicals and moderation support team are there to provide you with any help and support that you may need throughout your period of approval or delivery. You can contact them using the email address or telephone number there, and they are available Monday to Friday 9 till 5. The sorts of things and support that they can provide you with are where to find the right documents and information, any general queries about the technical qualifications, timelines for registrations, bookings and the moderation process, as well as the technical qualification approvals prior to delivery. They can also provide you with timelines for moderation and any support and guidance with the moderation portal. So here are my details. I'm Amelia Bodle and I'm the Technical Advisor for Hospitality and Catering, as I said at the start of this presentation. Please do email me if you have any queries relating to the technical side of this Key Stage 4 Technical Award in Cookery and Service. I'm here to provide you with support with understanding the qualification content and requirements, to carry out any onboarding that you may feel that you need, and to help your tutors prepare for curriculum delivery. I can give you details on key assessment criteria and exam preparation, as well as timelines for the registration booking process. I'm an industry advisor and I've worked for many years in the hospitality industry, so I can answer any of your specific technical queries. Please do contact me if you need any support. Thank you for viewing this presentation on supporting delivery of Key Stage 4 Technical Award in Cookery and Service.